Hi, thanks for joining me. Today I want to share with you grids. So this is going to be a short video. I want to try and give you as much information in the video as possible. Hi, thanks for joining me. Today I want to discuss with you grids, and hopefully I'm going to give you some information that you will find quite useful, and that's not it. Hi, thanks for joining me. Today, I want to share with you some information about grids. And this is a really basic information. So you may already have this information if you're familiar with grids, or if you haven't tried a grid, hopefully this will give you some ideas and maybe help you try a grid and be comfortable at trying a grid. All right, so before we begin, show some channel love, please, and hit the like and subscribe button. Also, if you have a comment, just drop us a little note in the comment section below. All right, so what is a grid? A grid is just an arrangement of objects that you use to assist you. It gives you that extra little boost. Sometimes you may need a little assistance, and you can use a grid. Now, the purpose of a grid, again, is to assist you, to help you do whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, be it for yourself or for someone else. The objects that you use in a grid can be, I tell you what I use in a grid, and that means elements: fire, water, sand, or earth. I use sand or dirt for earth. You can also use rocks for earth. But any of the elements you can use as a grid. Also, my favorite and most, I think most used are crystals, and that can be any type crystals, which you see here. I have some small crystals just to demonstrate, and these are different ones. The size of the grid can be extremely small to extremely large. The grid can be simple or it can be elaborate. We generally use shapes that are geometric in nature. That means a triangle, a square, a circle, a star, or octagon, something of that nature. You would set the grid up where you want it to be undisturbed. And the grid, the reason why I say undisturbed, that's if you're putting a grid on a tile similar to this, or on a tabletop, a dresser in the corner, you want to set it where it's not going to be disturbed and people are not moving back and forth across it. If the grid is used for yourself, meaning you can actually make a grid large enough to sit inside the grid. If you can't get down on the floor, then you can make the grid on a bed. You can make the grid on the floor and place a chair in the center of it. So for instance, you'd have the grid here and you place your chair right there in the center of the grid and you sit in the center of the grid, or you would lay down in the center of the grid. Wherever you place these, especially if you place it on a bed, you don't want these crystals to be moving all over the place. So keep that in mind also. Then you would connect the elements, and I'll show you how to connect the elements. So let's get to this. A simple grid. If all you have are two crystals or two objects, then you would place one above the crown and one below the foot area, and you would lay in that prostrate. Just lay down with your head on one end and your feet on the other end, and it would be sitting right below your feet. So for instance, let me put it on here. Generally, I'll put a dark crystal up near the head. I'm going to do stick people. This is a first for me. And you would be laying here in the grid. You would connect these crystals, just the two, in the grid. Now, that's just a basic one. You can also do a triangle grid here. And it doesn't matter whether you put the 2 here and 1 there, or 1 there and 2 there. It's up to you. Normally, when you do an object, or excuse me, a geometric shape, make sure it's large enough to encompass the entire item that you're putting inside. So if you're putting yourself inside, then make sure you place it wide enough or farther enough out so that you are directly inside. So I wouldn't place this here and this right here, because you may be cutting off your hands. I normally lay in here. You want to lay down in it and you want to relax. So place it far enough apart so that the lines are drawn. And when the lines come down and meet, you're totally inside. That's how you want to do it, no matter what the shape is. Okay, now let's go on. We'll do another one. So that's how you're going to do it, or you can be sitting inside it. Now, when I say elaborate to just a simple one, there's a triangle there. You can set these up on a tabletop. I have placed crystals in this manner. The crystals are going to, what you use will determine what you're trying to accomplish. And that one is a little more fancier than the other ones. And then you would join all the crystals together with your, keep your intent and the purpose in mind as you are connecting the crystals together. As you connect the crystals, you will activate the crystals. So let me show you what that would look like if you are activating just a simple one. Everything comes to the center. Everything comes to the center. And when you do this, it's almost like loop-de-looing and making a flower. So you would start here in the center with your hand. I stir energy up here, and then I go out and loop around, loop around. You're joining the crystals. Keep your intent in mind and loop there. They're joined. Your intent is going to activate these crystals, as will you're connecting them together, and they will work as a unit. Your intent will activate them with the purpose. Once you connect them, it's set, and now you let them do what they're going to do. If you're sitting inside, you will connect them the same way. Now we'll go to one that is a little bit more elaborate. If you were doing, you can do something like this where it's more than one. More than 3 or 4. That one was with 4. Here is with 5. It's done the same way. You start here in the middle, excuse me. I start here in the middle, stirring up energy, and then I loop around each one. And end in the middle. That's how I do it. It's just, all you want to do is connect energetically. It's an invisible connection. You normally use the index finger of your dominant hand, the hand that you write with. You use the index finger of that hand, and you're directing them to join together and to work together. Now, if you had something that was a bit more elaborate, like the one I showed you earlier, all I would do in this case is I'm going to put this out here so it's 2 on each side. In this case, I would connect each one individually. I would not, I'm not going to loop and connect both of those together. I want each crystal has its own properties. Everything has its own identity, its own energy, and I treat it as such. I am letting the crystals know that I value their input and their assistance, and that I am in no way ignoring any of them. And so when I do this, I stir up my energy here with my intent and purpose in mind. I loop around one, I loop around this one, loop that one, loop that one. Now I loop this one, loop this outer one, loop this outer one, loop this outer one. Perfect. So I want every crystal to understand that I value it, and that I not only value it, but I value its input and its assistance and how it's going to assist me. And so that's why I do that. And here I still loop. When I come to the center, I still loop and go out. And this can be done for any type of crystal setup. All right. So when you end the grid, if you're done and you feel you're sensing that the work you were going to do has been accomplished, you come in, you thank each crystal, and then you can take each crystal off and go place it back up individually, or you can take two at a time, or however. I never crowd my crystals. I want them to know, and I can thank them individually again as I'm placing them up off of the grid. The grid has been dismantled, and now I can move on. All right, hopefully that helps you. This is grids are quite powerful. They can help you energize, they can help you accomplish a goal, they can help give you direction, because information is stored in almost every single crystal, and each crystal has its own metaphysical properties. All right, thanks for joining me. Until next time.